Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Arna Sahu, host of Arna's News, and if you are a newcomer, welcome to this channel. I give you warm greetings digitally. Today we are with a special guest, Nana from Techworld with Nana. Nana is a DevOps consultant and software engineer located in Austria. She helps people with her DevOps tutorials on YouTube. She is literally so awesome because she has so many YouTube guides with so many great recommendations, so I highly recommend. I'll have the information in the description. Just check out Techworld with Nana on YouTube and you'll find her. All right, so with that said, thank you for clicking back to this podcast. Make sure to come back every Monday for a new episode. So I have a few sets of questions. So let's start. What made you interested in technology/STEM and educating others?
So first of all, in technology, I got interested purely because I saw it was really highly demanded. So it's not the typical, it was my passion scenario. It was really because I logically decided this is a very demanded field, so to say, and I just wanted to have a guaranteed career. That was the first reason why I got started. And later, when I got better at it and I became a senior developer and DevOps engineer, I kind of took my struggles from the way and tried to teach other people who are just beginning sort of the easier way.
Cool. Okay, the second question. What are the best resources that have helped you find your career path?
The best resource for me was YouTube, because this is where I got most of my IT knowledge. I think most of the developers and tech people will actually agree with me on that. Awesome, because most of the content is free, so you have all this information widely available from a lot of awesome instructors, and you can learn everything about software development, all the different programming languages, maybe probably all the different fields in IT even.
Okay.
So that's my go-to resource.
What advice would you have for someone wanting to pursue a career similar to yours?
Get a good overview of the IT field generally, because it's so diverse, it's so vast and broad. There is software development, front-end, back-end, databases, there is machine, like it is really, don't know at the beginning what you'll be interested in. So have a good overview and then begin with just one thing. Do not try to do everything at once. Pick one randomly, because you don't know if it's going to be the one later, but just pick one and start there.
All right. What's one thing you wish you had known when you began your career?
I wish I had known the overall, like the high level view of IT field, because I had no idea what I was getting into. I had no idea what I was doing the first 2 years probably in the field. So probably I missed that connecting link at the beginning.
Okay. And then what was the big challenge that you faced?
The big challenge was, as I said, I mean, the first year I was at college, and then I started my internship. So I got a job to get the practical experience right away. And I can tell that during those first 2 years, while I was learning and working at the same time, I just was doing these different bits and pieces of software development, and I just couldn't connect them together. It was just, I didn't know what it's gonna look like. I didn't know how much is there to learn more. How much do I already know? Like, it was all just a big puzzle thing, and I just had these little pieces of puzzle putting together, but I had no idea like what was going on in the overview.
Yeah, I think that's really common with a bunch of different people. Yeah. What's a common myth about your profession that you want to debunk?
That you have to be awesome at math, because you don't. And this is actually something that scares a lot of women away, because they think they have to be some kind of math genius or some prodigies, and that they have to have some kind of technical brain to get into the field, which is absolutely wrong. You don't have to maybe like basic school level math, that would probably be enough.
Okay, if you could step into my shoes, what would you have asked yourself that I didn't?
I would probably ask difference between getting like a classical education in IT versus learning it yourself, because there are a lot of people who actually try to learn it themselves because there are resources, Udemy, YouTube, like lots of different other platforms. And I think I mean, of course, you have advantages when you get the classical education, but generally, I think you may actually get there faster if you learn yourself.
Cool. Okay, and then how do you continue to learn in order to stay on top of things within your role?
Um, I mean, I like whenever I hear about new technologies, I immediately go and check it just very briefly, like what is blah blah technology, right? The name. And then I learn like what use cases they're used in, like what problems do they solve, because that gives me like a better perspective of, okay, there's a solution for this kind of problem. So then I have a really good overview of what I can solve with which technology and how I can use them like in combination.
All right, cool. What do you think is the vital factor that shaped your career and life? What was your life before learning it, and what's your life after learning it?
I think the most important thing was because I think that I like statistically I progressed in my career pretty fast, like faster than average. And that was because I always try to take on the challenge, like the most challenging tasks at job. So for example, there would be something to do in the project and the developers would be like, I don't know about this technology, I don't want to do this, maybe someone else, and I'll be the first volunteer to do it. I knew it was going to be challenging, but that actually got me grow super fast. So, for example, with 2 years, I was a senior developer, while 2 years usually statistically is considered that you were like still junior, like very, very middle junior, I would say. So I kept doing the same thing. Every time there was something new to learn, something challenging that others didn't like, were kind of afraid to do, I would jump in as a volunteer.
That's amazing. Who's your biggest role model slash biggest influence on your life?
Right now, it's actually he's an American entrepreneur. His name is Gary V. Gary Vaynerchuk. He's also a big personality, like very well known in the field. And the reason for me is because he basically preaches two things that I found super interesting: patience. And I think every one of us needs it, because if you're trying to achieve some goal, like you're always impatient about it, you always want it the next day, the next week. So patience is something that I learned from him. And the second one was not to go after money in career, in business, whatever it is, but try to observe yourself and try to find out what actually makes you happy and what tasks do you actually enjoy doing, and then pursue that and make money with that, instead of just saying, I'm going to go to finance sector because there's money in there or whatever.
Okay. And then what's your lowest point in life and how did you overcome that obstacle?
My lowest point was actually right before I started learning software development. It was when I graduated from a college or from a university here in Austria. I studied marketing and business, and I just couldn't find a job. It was so difficult for me. I was applying every week to, I don't know, tens of different jobs. It was impossible. The salaries were like super low. I was literally begging for a job, and there was a moment I realized, if I want this to shift, so that I'm not the one begging for a job, but I have like all these incoming messages from headhunters, I have to choose a profession which is much more demanded. So it put me in the better position. So that was probably the lowest moment that turned into good decision.
Cool. And then what's the most common reason for people failing and giving up, in your opinion? Do you have any tips to succeed?
I think because it's very overwhelming at the beginning, because you are bombarded with all those different terms and you have all these different technologies. And because what I mentioned at the beginning, because you don't have this high level view of the IT field, it kind of all mixed up for you. So it becomes like one big giant chaos and you don't know what you're really doing. So and I have seen it, unfortunately, especially with my female colleagues at college, who just quit it because it was just too much for them.
All right. And then lastly, do you have any tips for the audience?
My tips for the audience would be, if they are starting in the IT field, then it is okay. Like this probably the advice I would have also given me. It is okay to be overwhelmed. This is super normal, because this shouldn't be a reason to panic and just drop everything and give up. It is going to make sense once you progress and once you learn step by step. So just have patience, and you will get there eventually.
All right. And then thus that concludes the episode for this week. If you want to know more about how I relate to these amazing topics, then stay tuned for upcoming episodes. Check out Nana's YouTube channel, which is Techworld with Nana, for amazing YouTube tutorials. And make sure to come back to this channel every Monday. Once again, thank you for finding me, and I hope we stay in touch with each other. Dito, you were listening to Arna Sahu, the host of Arna's News. Peace out. See you next Monday. Toodles.